Hi everyone, welcome to today's session.
Hi Janet, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks for asking.
One second, One second.
Okay, so yesterday we finished our third module, which was reading. So today we are going to start a new module, listening. So we are going to discuss about the types of questions that we get in our listening, also the pattern, time duration, and also please log into LMS because we are going to practice some questions from LMS. But before that, I would like to call one of you to give me a quick recap about reading. So, yeah. Ashita, are you there?
Hi Janet, Ashita here.
Yeah. Yeah, hi Ashita, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So Ashita, give me a quick recap about IELTS reading. What you have learned, what you know about reading.
Okay, for IELTS reading, you have to try to skim with all the, what do you say, the paragraphs, and then try to read the top part and the bottom part of the sentence given so that you can solve your answers quickly. And make sure you write whatever is exactly given in the paragraph, so that you try not to, what do you say, modify your answer just to be on a safe side. And then you should not assume, you know, assumptions, you should be precise. Yeah, I think that's it. And also make sure that you finish in time.
Okay. Okay, so thank you Ashita.
Thank you.
Okay, so here in reading, you know very well that you will be getting 3 passages and 40 questions, and you have to complete it in 1 hour. So as we don't have much time, so it's better to read the questions rather than reading the passage and trying to understand the passage. Okay, and here of course there will be different instructions to different questions, so it's better to read the instructions and understand that properly. And whatever the answer is given in the passage, you have to write the same answers, you know, on the answer sheet. You're not allowed to change or modify that. And moreover, try to understand the question, try to read it twice or thrice, and check whether you know, it suits the answer what you have written or not. Okay, and always remember to proofread it. While proofreading, if you have made any mistakes or if you want to correct anything, you can do that in that buffer time that you have at the end. So it's better to complete reading or answer all 40 questions before the given timing. Okay, and moreover, reading needs concentration. Okay, so please, whenever you read, make sure you sit in a peaceful environment and concentrate properly, dedicate yourself and read it. Okay, and if you want to improve in reading, you have to cross check the answers. After reading, if you have made 10 mistakes, try to cross check and try to ask yourself, why this, why not this. Okay, and yes, in reading there are some questions which is going to bother you. Once you keep practicing, once you read a lot, you will come to know why this is the answer and why not that, and you will come to know their techniques and the methods that they use to keep the answers in the passage. Okay, so you need to read a lot for that. You know very well that practice makes a man perfect. The same thing in reading as well. If you read more, you will understand how it works and how to get the answers. And try to keep your scores above 35. Okay, you have to aim to get about 35, 7, 7.5 or 8, because in reading it's not difficult, but initially, yes, of course, it is going to be difficult for beginners or for the students who are reading it for the first time. Read a lot, get used to it, and you can easily score the marks. So today we are going to start a new module, that is listening. Listening is one of the interesting modules that we have in our IELTS. Previous slide. Yeah. Okay, this is written. So in listening, we have 4 sections. Make a note of it, or you can take a screenshot of this slide. We have 4 sections in listening, and you're going to get 30 minutes to listen to the audio and answer the question, and you will get 10 minutes extra, okay, to transfer your answers from the question paper to the answer sheet. In reading, if you remember, we don't get any extra time, okay? So there, if you find the answers, you have to write it on the answer sheet straight away. But here in listening, don't write anything on the answer sheet. You will get the question paper, you will get 40 questions. So listen and answer on the question paper itself. When you get that 10 minutes extra time to transfer, use that time, and in that time you can transfer all the answers, and you can proofread it just to check the grammar and the spellings. So don't write anything while listening on the answer sheet, write everything on the question paper. Now, so overall 40 minutes, 30 minutes to listen to the audio and 10 minutes to transfer your answers at the end. Now in listening, as you know, there are 4 sections. The first section is going to be a conversation. Okay. So total 40 questions, it's divided 10, 10, 10, 10. So total 40 questions for 4 sections. Okay. And here, the first section is going to be a conversation. Conversation, 2 people will be having conversation with each other about any social topic, okay, about any social discussion, booking a hotel, or talking about charity, or anything, a conversation between 2 people about any social topic. So that is going to be your section 1, conversation. And section 2 is going to be a monologue. Monologue is where you get only one speaker giving lecture on something. So in the monologue, you will listen to the person who is giving a lecture on any social topic. So the first is conversation, next is monologue. And then we have the third section. Third section is going to be a conversation again, but this time it's going to be between 2 people or more than 2 people, 2 to 4 people. Okay, among them there is going to be a conversation. And here the conversation is going to be about any academic topic. Okay, it's not going to be related to any social issues, any academic topic. For example, a teacher having a conversation with a student, okay, about any subject, okay, or a student taking admission somewhere in the school or the college. So the conversation is going to be on any academic topic. And fourth is your monologue. Again, here you will get one speaker giving a lecture on any academic topic. There in second section, it was on social. Here, fourth section, the monologue is going to be on any subject. The topic is going to be about any subjects or any academic topic. Okay, so conversation, monologue, conversation, monologue. Okay, it's going to go like that. And moreover, the rate of speech is going to get faster. Section 4 is always the toughest one. Why it is so? Because of the pace. In section 1, they are going to talk bit slow, and then their rate of speech, it gets faster. So section 1 is going to be okay, it's going to be easy. Then section 2, bit difficult. Section 3, tougher, and section 4 is going to be the toughest one. So here you have to pay attention. You cannot distract yourself here and there, and always use a pencil and they will give you some time to look at the options. For example, they will say, okay, so look at section 1, and we have question number 1 to 10. So you're going to get few seconds to look at question number 1 to 10. So whatever time you get to look at the questions, you have to read that questions carefully. You can underline that, or you can look for the options. Here you can predict whether the answer is going to be a number or a name, adverb, adjective again. And the speaker will use the synonyms and paraphrase the sentence. So you will not find the same sentence in the audio. So in the given time, you can read the question and you can also try to paraphrase, or you can guess some synonyms that the speaker may use in the audio. Okay, so this is a pattern. 30 minutes you get to listen to the audio, and you have to answer 40 questions, and you will get 10 minutes extra to transfer your answers from the question paper to the answer sheet. Okay, and here we have different topics in different sections, and the first and third section is going to be a conversation, and second and fourth section is going to be a monologue. Okay, next one.
Janet, I have a question. As you said now, the conversation and the monologue, will the same conversation and the monologue be also present in the question paper, or is it like you only get to listen and then you won't have anything or anything about the conversation on the question paper?
No, whatever you listen to, the questions will be related to that only. For example, section 1 is about a conversation. Okay, for example, it's a conversation between say a receptionist and a customer who has just come to book a hotel. Okay, so here in your question paper there will be questions like name of the customer, or telephone number, then how many rooms, or what is the occasion, like that. So while listening to the conversation, you have to listen to the answers and write it.
Okay, so the conversation details won't be written on the question paper, that means?
No, not at all. That's why you have to listen. Only questions will be there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so students, take a screenshot of this slide. This is a score chart. Here in listening, if you want to score 8.5 or 7.5, you have to score more than 33 for 7.5. If you score 30 or more than that, that is 7. So again, I would say aim to score 40 out of 40 here in listening, because listening is not that difficult, as it's interesting, I would say. But again, it needs concentration. Yeah, the next one. Okay, so we have some tips here. You should always read before you listen. You will get some time to read the questions, and you can predict the answer. And read as you listen. Focus on the whole question. While listening, you have to read. Before listening, also you have to read. Look at 2 questions at once. Now, we don't have too much time to read the questions one by one, and in reading, what we used to do is, if we don't find any answer, we used to have some time at the end and we used to come again and recheck it. Now here it's not like that. The audio is going to get played once, so it's better you look at all the questions, and you can look at 2 questions at once together. Don't leave the writing to the end, of course, and practice shorthand. Practice shorthand is nothing but when you listen to the answer, you can write the answer on the question paper. No need to write the complete answer, just the abbreviations or the short forms. Because when you get 10 minutes at the end, when you transfer your answers on the answer sheet, you have to write clearly on the answer sheet. Okay, question paper, nobody is going to check what you have written in the question paper. So make sure you use the short forms and write it fast. While transferring, make sure you write the full forms. Okay, for example, if you want to write 10 seconds, so it's better you write the complete word second rather than just writing SEC. Okay, so take care of that. But on the question paper, you can write second, just the short form, so that you remember that this is the answer. Then when you transfer, you can write the full form. Here it's all about the timing, because the person is not going to mention that information again. So it's better you just keep an eye on the questions which are, the next section or the third section. You can just read that together, and then you can listen to the audio. It is always good to predict. Okay, for example, if it is written telephone number, of course, if there is a name and after that you have the question as a telephone number, so after the name the person is definitely going to mention the telephone number, and the answer to the questions is always going to be in chronological order. Okay, so when you listen to the name, be ready to get the numbers. Okay, and sometimes it's all about their accent. If you don't understand their accent, then it's very difficult to get the answer. Their pronunciation is completely different from the way we pronounce the words. Okay, for example, if the answer is car, they won't be saying car, they'll be saying car. R just disappear, or you can, don't roll the R. Okay, just try to roll your tongue. R, it's not R, it's R. Okay, so they will say car. So sometimes you should understand, it's all about understanding their accent and their pronunciation. So for that, try to watch English movies and try to listen to English songs. So it will help you out to understand their accent and get their pronunciation. Okay. So especially whenever you write numbers and names, please check your spelling, and of course they will spell. For example, if the answer is Janet, so they will spell. It goes J-A-N-E-T. So you can just write the answer. Okay, but again, I would suggest you to check the spellings once again. Don't write the answers too quickly. Sometimes what happens is what they mean to say too quickly. They mean to say that sometimes they will change their decision. Okay, for example, if the question says, at what time the train is going to arrive? Okay, when you listen to the conversation, the guy would say, okay, the train is going to arrive at 8 o'clock. Oh, sorry, 8:30. Okay, so if you quickly just write 8 o'clock, but what he did is he changed the decision. Okay, so sometimes just don't go with the first answer. Okay, maybe the third or the second answer is going to be the right answer. So wait for their decision. Okay, and this happens in some questions, not every questions. Okay, and don't leave any blank answers, because we don't have any negative marking here for listening for IELTS any modules. So it's better to write anything, any guesses, just go for it. Listen for repeated information. It's not, usually they don't repeat the information, but if they do, so try to pay more attention there. Look for clues in the question. Of course, you know that while reading, we used to look for the keywords and then find the answers. The same in listening. You can get the keywords from the question, and you can find the answers while listening to the audio. So here you have to be extra careful, because each and every word that they say in the audio and the information, you have to understand it to write the correct answer. Yeah, because you cannot listen to the audio once again, but in reading, you read that passage again and again to confirm the answer. Okay, what happens sometimes there in your examination room is, sometimes the audio is not clear. So if you cannot hear the audio clearly, just call the staff members and let them know that, okay, this is not working properly, and they will not play the audio again for you. So it's better, if you find something wrong, just call the person there, whoever is handling the class, and inform that person. Follow the instructions carefully. They may be different to practice or the previous test. Now, instructions in reading and listening in all the modules, it's very important. So try to read the instructions carefully. Listen for the specific information you want and try and anticipate what the speaker will say. This will require concentration. Yes, of course, in the listening, you read the question and then you wait for the audio. So in that case, you can anticipate something, you can predict the answers, okay? So you can predict what the speaker is going to mention, whether it's going to be a name or a name of a place, of a person, or a telephone number, or alphabet, so whatever it is. So in that case, you can predict the answer, okay? But I would suggest to understand the questions and also to read the instructions very carefully. Here, listening is all about multitasking. You listen, you read, you write. Okay, so listening, reading, and writing all together. So you have to pay, you should have good concentration to get good scores here in listening. Do not worry if there is a word you do not understand, you may not need to use it. Sometimes if you feel like they have used any complicated word or any word that you're not getting, you didn't understand, it's okay. Just carry on, because what if you do not need that word? Okay, if you do not know the answer to a question, attempt it, but do not waste time. Move quickly on to the next one. So it's very difficult, it's very important to move quickly to the next question, because if you miss one question, if you spend too much time to wait for the answer to that question, you're going to miss the next 5 questions, because they speak fast. Okay, and if the answer is gone, it's gone. So just leave it and jump into the next question. Okay, be careful with your spelling and grammar. If the answer is in plural, you have to write in plural. If you write it in singular form, you won't be getting any score for that. If it says computers with an S, and if you write computer, then that's going to be the wrong answer. Okay, and spelling, it plays an important role here in listening, because we come across so many words on a daily basis, but we don't know the spelling. Okay, so let me ask few spellings from you guys now. So who can tell me the spelling of vacuum? Okay, yes guys, you can write it in the chat box, or you can just unmute and tell me what is the spelling of vacuum. Don't Google search it, okay? Okay, so yeah.
Can you provide the chat box?
Okay, so Aruna has written VACUME, something like that. So Aditya has written VACUUM, and Ashwin has written VACCUM. Common word that we use, I mean, of course, that is a very simple word. So this kind of words, you get it in your listening. So what if you don't know the spelling? See, we have more than 5 to 6 spellings here. Okay, Gaurav has said W. Okay, scroll it up. Let's look at some other. Shivam, scroll up.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Okay. Any other? We have 3 spellings here. Nikhil, what do you think? VACCUME. Second one? Okay. So you think the first one? Okay. Any other guesses? Scroll it down, Shiva. Chat. See, don't Google search and cheat yourself, okay? I kind of have a doubt on Gaurav that he has Google searched. Just scroll it down. That's it. Okay. So the spelling of vacuum is this one. It's VACUUM. Okay, Nikhil and Jinsey, is it a shock for you?
Yeah.
So see, for example, if the answer is vacuum, okay, for second question, you know the answer is vacuum, but you have written the wrong spelling, then no marks, right? So yeah, the correct spelling is V-A-C-U-U-M. Gaurav, see, I don't trust. Okay, so yeah, let me ask you one more spelling. Okay. Who can tell me the spelling of word psychiatrist? Psychiatrist. P-H-Y. Are you sure it's P-H-Y, Nikhil? Sure. The sound. Psy. It's not phi. Psychiatrist. Okay, so Sachindra says it's P-S-Y. Y-C-H-I-A-T-R-I-S-T, psychiatrist. So Harpreet has written the same. Astrologer. Okay, one student has written, Aruna has written I-A-R. What about Jinsi?
P-H-Y.
P-H-Y?
Yes.
For psychiatrist.
Yeah. So.
No, please. Okay, now you changed. Ashwin has written the same again. Okay, so Ashwin is right, Devendra is right, and the students, whoever has written P-S-Y-C-H-I-A-T-R-I-S-T. Now this is the spelling of psychiatrist.
Sure.
Okay, so here psychiatrist, P is silent. So you're going to get words like this, okay? Like, yeah, Jinsi, what is the spelling of balloon? Come on, you should not take time to think.
B-A-L-L-O-N.
B-A-L-L-O-O-N. Nikhil?
B-A-N-N-O-N-E.
Okay, there is E after N. Okay, what about Ashwant? Ashwant, what is the spelling of balloon? No, don't look for the spelling, okay? Okay, so Ashwant has written it's B-A-L-L-O-N. Now we have three spellings here. Jinsi says it's B-A-L-L-O-N and Nikhil says it's B-A-L-L-O-N-E.
Yeah.
Okay, show me the attendees.
Okay, you should not be there.
Show me the attendees. Yes, Shiju, what is the spelling of balloon? Okay, we have one more. Ashita, show me Ashita's spelling. Yeah. See, we have one more word. It's B-A-L-O-O-N. So we have four options here. So you guys haven't paid attention when you learned B for balloon. Four spellings. Okay, so solve it up. Show attendees. No attendees. Yeah. Yes. Aditya. Check on it. Aditya, can you hear me? Shivam, just have a check on this. See.
Yeah,
Attendees. Unmute? Okay. Yeah. So Aditya says it's B-A-L-L-O-O-N. So we have four spellings here. And the correct spelling is B-A-L-L-O-O-N. Now what should I say? You guys tell me if you don't know the spelling of balloon. How will you get the scores in listening? So balloon is L-L-O-O. We have B-A-L-L-O-O. Okay, so please, practice and, there are different applications. I don't remember the name. I'll let you know. There is an application called Scrabble. Just check it out. You can download it on your phone from the Play Store. So there are different questions there just to improve our spellings. So you can download and you can practice over there. Scrabble, just check it. I think it's Scrabble. So yeah, so you can practice that way. There are so many websites and different applications which can help you out.
Game or something?
It's not a game.
Yeah, it's related to words actually.
Yeah. Just
Scrabble.
SCRABBS.
Scrabble.
Scrabble.
Yeah.
I written Scrabble.
That is needs to be scrambled.
Not scrambled. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. So please be careful with your spelling. Do not panic if you think the topic is too difficult or the speaker is too fast. Relax and tune in. You know very well that the rate of speech is going to get faster. So it's better to pay attention and to relax yourself. So don't panic, okay? If you miss any question, no problem at all. Just try to read the other questions. Read, write, and listen at the same time. So it's, you have to do multitasking here. Listen, read, and write. Listen, read, and write at the same time. So while listening, don't forget to read and don't forget to write. You have to do all the tasks together. That is why I was saying it's better to write the answers on the question paper rather than writing it on the answer sheet, because you know you will get extra time for that. So it's good to just pay attention, read the questions, and write the answers. Okay. Focus precisely on what you are asked to do in completion type questions. Pay attention to the word limit. For example, if you're asked to complete a sentence using no more than 2 words, if the correct answer is leather coat, but the answer is coat made of leather, would be incorrect. Of course, you have to write the answer according to the instruction, whatever it says. If it says 2 words, then you should not write more than 2 words. You know this instruction very properly as you have practiced it in reading as well. Yeah, the next one. If the question asks you to complete the note in the and the correct answer is morning, again, if the article is given, if the preposition is given, just write the answer. Don't write the article and the preposition again. If it's not given, yes, of course you can mention it. If it is given, don't write it again. So you won't be getting marks for that. For example, in the is already given and there is a blank where you are supposed to write morning. But in the answer sheet, you have written again in the morning. So you will not get score for that. It means you are not, conscious. Okay, so while listening, so just write the answers. Attempt all questions. There are no penalties for incorrect answers. Of course, you know that there is no negative marking. So just go for the answer. Whatever guesses you have, just write it down. Okay. Next. Next. Okay. So here we are going to watch a video to get some more tips about listening. So listen to that very carefully, and you can jot down some important points that you find from it. Yeah.
So you've decided to take the IELTS exam. Great choice. It's the test that's tried and trusted throughout the world. The IELTS listening test is designed to assess your ability to understand spoken English. The listening test is the same regardless of whether you're taking the IELTS academic or general training module. These are key details of the IELTS listening test. The paper includes 40 questions spread over 4 sections in 30 minutes. The sections get more difficult as you progress through the test. You will only hear each passage once. It's vital you follow the instructions. For instance, if the question says, write no more than 3 words, Any answer with 4 words or more is automatically marked wrong. At the end of the listening, you have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Write your answers carefully. Spelling is important. Capitalization, however, is not. There are no penalties for wrong answers, so attempt all the questions, even if you're not sure of the answer. Here are some tips to help you prepare for the test. You are given time to read the questions ahead of the listening. It's vital you analyze the questions here. Look for key words in the question. Usually the nouns or verbs. Underline or circle them. Make sure you know the type of answers needed. For instance, is it a name, a telephone number, an adjective? Try to predict as much as you can before you listen. Ask yourself, what is the situation? What is the topic? Who might be speaking? What might be the answers? Synonyms are important. There is often a word in a question and a different word with a similar meaning in the listening. Expect tricks. The speaker may try to confuse you. For example, they may give an answer and then change their decision. Also, be wary of negatives. Speakers might sometimes flip the word not into a sentence. Don't choose an answer just because you hear specific words. Consider the overall meaning carefully. Changes in the tone of voice can indicate this. For example, excitement or disappointment. Always have the next question in mind. It's easy to miss several answers if all of your focus is on one question. It's important to practice listening to a range of resources that might include television, films, radio, lectures, or online videos. Aim for a variety of sources of spoken English, particularly different accents. There is no substitute for practice. For more information on IELTS, please see our other videos on speaking, writing, and reading.
Okay, so I hope you got some tips from the video. Next one. Let's watch one more video, and this is from British Council experts.
Hey Nisha, you like that? हाँ, बड़ा पुराना हो गया. वो देख, same. ना बड़ा हो गया है तुझे.
I'm here today to give you some tips on what you can do to do a better job at the listening test, to get a higher score on the listening test. The first thing, the most important thing, is to read the instructions, I think. If you're not reading the instructions, you don't know exactly what it is that's required for the answer for the IELTS test. So the instructions might tell you to write down no more than 3 words or write down no more than 4 words. Numbers are important. If you get them wrong, your answer is wrong. When you're given the test, there's a little blip that lasts about 30 seconds that says you will now have 30 seconds to look at questions number 9 to 15.
Anna, Maria and Tom have persuaded Abdul to join the college badminton club. He is talking to the club secretary. As you listen, fill in the spaces 5 to 10 on the membership form. First, you have some time to look at the form.
All right. When you're looking at those questions, what I would be doing is I would be looking for a couple of things. I would be looking for keywords in the questions. I would underline them or circle them. The next thing I would do is I would think of synonyms, words that have a similar meaning to them.
How do you rate your game? Beginner? League?
Oh no, I'm not league standard. Just middling really. Not bad and not good. Just play for fun and to keep fit.
It might have, for example, what does the student request? Now, you would underline request because you want to listen for that answer to come in. But if you listen for the word request, it's probably not going to be in the text, and then you'll get lost. But if you think of synonyms for the key words, and then you're prepared, so you see request, you think, okay, maybe they'll say ask for. And then you're ready for the synonym to come.
You might call your doctor and say, I want to make an appointment for 3:15 in the afternoon. And the doctor will say, yes, that's Tuesday afternoon, the 3rd of March at 3:50. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's Tuesday afternoon, the 3rd of March at 3:15. So when you're listening to it, they might go back and reverse the information. So just because you hear something the first time doesn't mean it's the right answer.
Also, look at the topic that it's talking about. For example, maybe it's talking about sport. As you see that, start to think about sport. We tend to organize vocabulary in groups in our brain. So what you need to do is kind of activate your vocabulary for a certain area. So when you see maybe the topic from the various questions, start thinking about words that you know as well. It's a lot to do in 30 seconds. But this is one thing you can do.
I've looked at students' work when they've done practice tests for me, and maybe the answer was 30 seconds, and the student wrote 30 S. S doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know what S is. Another student might have written 30 SEC. SEC is a standard abbreviation. If you're going to use abbreviations on the IELTS test, make sure you know what the standard abbreviation is for a native English speaker. I would say write out the word if you've got time. Write the abbreviation when you're making notes for yourself on the test paper itself. Because remember, on the listening test, you're given 10 minutes to transfer your answers at the end of the test. When you write out your answers on the answer sheet, write the whole word. Students tell me they've lost track. They don't know what's going on. They can't figure it out.
And then they start to panic and they lose their place. You need to think, if you miss an answer, don't worry about it. Go on.
Listen for key ideas. While you're listening, while you're lost, look down at your questions. Find those key words and listen for them. Chances are you're going to hear a word that fits one of the words in the question. And if you hear the word that fits in the question, pick up from that point. You're given 10 minutes at the end to transfer your answers. And, you know, miracles happen. Wonderful things happen. You might remember the question. You might remember the answer at the end when you're filling in your answer sheet.
Yes, sure.
LMS, right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's practice some questions from LMS. The one First one. I think first or the fourth one. Yeah. Okay, so log into LMS and click on session number 1. So let's complete the questions from section 1. You can play it from your end if you want to, or you can listen it from our end. Show me the chat. Okay. So I'm going to play the audio. Listen to that carefully and answer the questions.
During the exams, you will be provided with the headsets, or it will be over
Headphones.
headphones.
In some countries.
Because when I appeared in Bahrain, it was not the headphones actually. They played over.
Yeah.
So that was confusing actually.
In some countries, they use the speakers. But in India, it's always headphones.
That is better, much better.
Yeah. Yes. Play the audio.
Cambridge IELTS 8 by University of Cambridge ESOL Examinations. Published by Cambridge University Press. This recording is copyright. CD 1. Test 1. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 friends called George and Nina about a summer music festival. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 and 2.
Zoom it a bit. Okay.
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Hi, George. Glad you're back. Loads of people have phoned you.
Really?
I felt just like your secretary.
Sorry. I went into the library this afternoon to have a look at a newspaper and I came across something really interesting.
What? A book?
No, a brochure from a summer festival, mainly Spanish music. Look, I've got it here.
George says that he found a brochure from a festival, so B has been circled as the answer. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 and 2.
Hi, George. Glad you're back. Loads of people have phoned you.
Really?
I felt just like your secretary.
Sorry. I went into the library this afternoon to have a look at a newspaper and I came across something really interesting.
What? A book?
No, a brochure from a summer festival, mainly Spanish music. Look, I've got it here.
Spanish music? I really love the guitar. Let's have a look. So what's this group, Guittarini?
They're really good. They had a video with all the highlights of the festival at a stand in the lobby to the library. So I heard them. They play fantastic instruments, drums and flutes and old kinds of guitars. I've never heard anything like it before.
Sounds great.
Okay, shall we go then? Spoil ourselves?
Yes, let's.
The only problem is there aren't any cheap seats. It's all one price.
Well, in that case, we could sit right at the front. We'd have a really good view.
Yeah, though I think that if you sit at the back, you can actually hear the whole thing better.
Yes. Anyway, we can decide when we get there.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, You have some time to look at questions 3 to 10.
It says no more than 2 words and or a number.
Now listen and answer questions 3 to 10.
So will you fill in the form or shall I?
I'll do it. Name, George O'Neill. Address, 48 North Avenue, Westsea. Do you remember our new postcode? Still can't remember it.
Just a minute. I've got it written down here. WS6 2YH. Do you need the phone too?
Please. I'm really bad at numbers.
01674 553 242. So let's book 2 tickets for Guittarini.
Okay. If you're sure $7.50 each is all right. How do you feel about the singer?
I haven't quite decided, but I've noticed something on the booking form that might just persuade me.
What's that then?
Free refreshments.
Really?
Yes, look here. Sunday, 17th of June. Singer. Ticket £6, includes drinks in the garden.
Sounds like a bargain to me.
Yes. Let's book 2 tickets for that. So, what else? I'm feeling quite keen now. How about the pianist on the 22nd of June?
Anna Ventura. I've just remembered that's my evening class night.
That's okay. I'll just have to go on my own. But we can go to the Spanish dance and guitar concert together, can't we?
Yes, I'm sure Tom and Kieran would enjoy that too. Good heavens, £10.50 a ticket. I can see we're going to have to go without food for the rest of the week. We need to book 4.
Wish we were students. Look, children, students, and senior citizens get a 50% discount on everything.
If only.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, so what have you written in question number 1? In the lobby of the library, George saw what? A, B, or C?
C.
C. What about other students? C. Okay, so we have C as the answer. A is not the answer, Ashwant. He talked about the video about the festival. So that is why C is the answer. And the second one, B. Yes, good job. For the second question, B is the answer. Good job, guys. Okay, for the third one, 48 North Avenue. Now here you have to take care of the spellings. Let me show you the answer. That would be easy. Okay. First one is C, second is B. It's 48 North Avenue. Fourth is WS62YH. Yeah. Now, why you have written 8 is, Nikhil, the letter, the alphabet here, it's not pronounced as H. It's pronounced as H. That is the correct pronunciation, H. We also say Z, but it is pronounced as Z. Okay, the fifth one is 01674553242. For the sixth answer, you can write either drink, drinks, free drink, or you can write refreshment or refreshments. Seventh, you can write either piano player or you can write pianist. Now spelling of pianist. Eighth is 1050, 10.50. 9th is 4 and 10th is 50%. So how many students scored 10 out of 10 in section 1? Jinsi, good job. What about Nikhil? 7?
Yeah.
Okay, 8. Aditya scored 9. Gaurav 9. Ashwant 8. Guys, why 9 and 8? Ashita 6, it's very less. What happened? Any confusion, any doubt that you guys have? Aruna 7.
Janet, actually, I got confused at number 9. I wrote 2. I thought it was. I thought he said 2. The ticket of 10
No,
pound.
Yeah, but he said 4. How many people,
Yeah.
no? He said 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the rate he has mentioned in 8th one. That is 10.50.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Most of the students have scored 7. Why? And Ashita, why it's 6 too less? Aruna 7, Devendra 7. It's okay. This is the first time. Try to score complete marks in section 1 because the rate of speech gets faster. Okay, it's going to get difficult in coming sessions. So try to score complete marks. Do you have any doubt or should I play the next section? Okay, so let's listen to the section 2. And in section 1, we have Jinsi who scored the complete marks. So good job. And some students scored 9. 9 is also a pretty good score. And the students who have scored less, not a problem at all. This is the first time you're listening to. It's not that difficult. Try to score better in section 2. Okay. So here, section 2, question number 11 to 15. You have to write no more than 2 words and or a number. Then 16 to 8. Which 3 things can students have with them in the museum? Out of this, you have to choose 3 letters, 3 alphabets. You listen to that, which the students can have in the museum. And question number 19 to 20, which 2 activities can students do after the tour at present? Okay, let's start.
Section 2. You will hear the education officer of a dinosaur museum giving information to some teachers who are planning a school visit. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Hello, and thank you for asking me to your teachers' meeting to talk about the Dinosaur Museum and to tell you a bit about what you can do with your students there. Well, let me give you some of the basic information first. In regard to opening hours, we're open every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m, except on Mondays, when we close at 1:30 p.m. And in fact, the only day in the year when we're closed is on the 25th of December. You can book a guided tour for your school group any time that we're open. If you bring a school group to the museum, when you arrive, we ask you to remain with your group in the car park. One or more of the tour guides will welcome you there and brief you about what the tour will be about. We do this there because our entrance is quite small and we really haven't got much room for briefing groups in the exhibition area. As far as the amount of time you'll need goes, if you bring a school group, you should plan on allowing a minimum of 90 minutes for the visit. This allows 15 minutes to get on and off the coach, 45 minutes for the guided tour, and 30 minutes for after-tour activities. If you're going to have lunch at the museum, you will of course have to allow more time. There are 2 cafes in the museum with seating for 80 people. If you want to eat there, you'll need to reserve some seating, as they can get quite crowded at lunchtime. Then outside the museum at the back there are tables, and students can bring their own lunch and eat it there in the open air.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
When the students come into the museum foyer, we ask them to check in their backpacks with their books, lunchboxes, etc. at the cloakroom before they enter the museum proper. I'm afraid in the past we have had a few things gone missing after school visits, so this is a strict rule. Also, some of the exhibits are fragile and we don't want them to be accidentally knocked. But we do provide school students with handouts with questions and quizzes on them. There's so much that students can learn in the museum, and it's fun for them to have something to do. Of course, they'll need to bring something to write with for these. We do allow students to take photographs. For students who are doing projects, it's useful to make some kind of visual record of what they see that they can add to their reports. And finally, they should not bring anything to eat into the museum or drinks of any kind. There are also a few things that students can do after the tour. In the theaterette on the ground floor, there are continuous screenings of short documentaries about dinosaurs which they can see at any time. We used to have an activity room with more interactive things like making models of dinosaurs and drawing and painting pictures, even hunting for dinosaur eggs. But unfortunately, the room was damaged in a bad storm recently when water came in the roof, so that's closed at the moment. But we do have an IT centre where students have access to CD-ROMs with a range of dinosaur games. These games are a lot of fun, but they also teach the students about the lives of dinosaurs, how they found food, protected their habitat, survived threats, that kind of thing. And I think that's all I have to tell you. Please feel free to ask any questions if you would like to know anything else.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, so let's check the answers. 11th is 1:30. 12th, 25th December, or you can write Christmas Day. 13, you can write car park, or you can write parking lot.
Only parking?
That's wrong.
That's not.
No. They're asking about the place, no? 14th is 45. 15th, tables, or you can write some tables. If you have not added S here, that is going to be incorrect answer. 16, 17 and 18, you can write it in any order. The answer is C, F, G. If you have written only C and F, then you will get 2 marks for that. So C, F, G is the answer. 19 and 20, B and E. So what's your scores, guys? Devendra, good 9. Gaurav, good job. 10 out of 10. Aditya, good, 9. Ashwant, 8, not bad. Aruna, 9, good, good, good. You guys scored better in section 2. You can see. Good job.
The second section was much easier than the first one.
Okay, what about others? Abhi, what's your score? Harpreet, Ashita, 7. Ashita again less. Shiju, Sukanya, Sachindra. Shiju scored 8, okay. Ashita, what happened? Why 7? I think section 2 was easier than first, but usually it gets difficult. But you found it easy. What about others?
Out on those conversation for that 12th and 13th, I mean 12th question. That when does it close? I mean December, Christmas, no? That one I missed. And even the last one, I think.
Okay. When it comes to session number 2, section 2, here, you will listen to a monologue. So here the speaker will speak continuously and you have to choose the answers. So it's better to read all the options, and they will try to twist. If it is written, do not open, they will say close. It means the same, okay? They fill in the blanks. And here they were talking about everything, all the options she has mentioned, but she said now it's not available. Before it was. Okay, yeah.
Firstly, she said of making models, and then she elaborated with the computer games.
Yeah. And she also said documentaries we can watch, and documentaries are nothing but the films only. Okay. And then at the end she said the computer games. Even the other options she mentioned, but she said it's not available this year. So yeah, listen to that carefully. Let's try section 3. So 2 students scored full marks, Gaurav and Jinsi. Let's see who scores complete marks here in section 3. So section 3 is multiple choice question. Here we have 21, 22, 23, 24. In multiple choice, you need to pay more attention. Read the question carefully. And 25 to 27, which 3 topics does Sandra agree to include in the proposal? You have to choose from this. And 28 to 30 is one word and or number.
Section 3. You will hear a student called Sandra talking to her tutor about a draft proposal she has written for a competition. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Right, Sandra. You wanted to see me to get some feedback on your group's proposal, the one you're submitting for the Geography Society field trip competition. I've had a look through your proposal, and I think it's a really good choice. In fact, I only have a few things to say about it, but even in an outline document like this, you really have to be careful to avoid typos and problems with layout in the proposal, and even in the contents page. So read it through carefully before submitting it, okay?
Will do.
And I made a few notes on the proposal about things which could have been better sequenced.
Okay.
As for the writing itself, I've annotated the proposal as and where I thought it could be improved. Generally speaking, I feel you've often used complex structures and long sentences for the sake of it, and as a consequence, although your paragraphing and inclusion of subheadings help, It's quite hard to follow your train of thought at times.
Oh,
So cut them down a bit, can you?
really?
Yes, and don't forget simple formatting like numbering.
Didn't I use page numbers?
I didn't mean that. Look, you've remembered to include headers and footers, which is good, but listing ideas clearly is important. Number them or use bullet points, which is even clearer. Then you'll focus the reader on your main points. I thought your suggestion to go to the Navajo Tribal Park was a very good idea.
No, I've always wanted to go there. My father was a great fan of cowboy films and the Wild West, so I was subjected to seeing all the epics, many of which were shot there. As a consequence, it feels very familiar to me, and it's awesome, both geographically and visually. So it's somewhere I've always wanted to visit. The subsequent research I did and the online photographs made me even keener.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 25 to 30.
Interesting. Right, let's look at the content of your proposal now.
Did you find it comprehensive enough?
Well, yes and no. You've listed several different topics on your contents page, but I'm not sure they're all relevant.
No? Well, I thought that from the perspective of a field trip, one thing I needed to focus on was the sandstone plateau and cliffs themselves. The way they tower up from the flat landscape is just amazing. The fact that the surrounding softer rocks were eroded by wind and rain, leaving these huge outcrops high above the plain. It's hardly surprising that tourists flock to see the area.
Well, yes, I'd agree with including those points.
And then the fact that it's been home to Native American Navajos and all the social history that goes with that. The hardships they endured trying to save their territory from the invading settlers. Their culture is so rich. All those wonderful stories.
Well, I agree it's interesting, but it's not immediately relevant to your proposal, Sandra. So at this stage, I suggest you focus on other considerations. I think an indication of what the students on the trip could actually do when they get there should be far more central. So that certainly needs to be included and to be expanded upon. And I'd like to see something about the local wildlife and vegetation too. Not that I imagine there's much to see. Presumably the tourist invasion hasn't helped.
Okay, I'll do some work on those two areas as well. But you're right, there's not much apart from some very shallow-rooted species. Although it's cold and snowy there in the winter, the earth is baked so hard in the summer sun that rainwater can't penetrate. So it's a case of flood or drought, really.
So I understand. Now, before we look at everything in more detail, I've got a few factual questions for you. It would be a good idea to include the answers in your finished proposal, because they're missing from your draft.
Fine.
So you mentioned the monoliths and the spires, which was good. But what area does the tribal park cover? Do you know?
12,000 hectares. And the plain is at about 5,850 meters above sea level.
Larger than I expected. Okay. Where's the nearest accommodation? That's a practical detail that you haven't included. Have you done any research on that?
Yes. There's nowhere to stay in the park itself, but there's an old trading post called Goulding quite near. All kinds of tours start from Goulding too.
What kind of tours?
Well, the most popular are in four-wheel drive Jeeps, but I wouldn't recommend hiring those. I think the best way to appreciate the area would be to hire horses instead and trek around on those. Biking is not allowed, and it's impossible to drive around the area in private vehicles. The tracks are too rough.
Okay. Lastly, what else is worth visiting there?
There are several caves, but I haven't looked into any details. I'll find out about them.
Okay, good. Now what I'd like to know is...
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So Nikhil, was it easy?
I think.
So 21 is A, 22 is C, 23 is A, and 24 is B. 25, 26, and 27, you can write it in any order. The answer is B, C, F. 28 is 12,000, 29 horses, 30 is caves. It's in plural form, horses, caves. So Aditya scored 10 out of 10. Good job, Aditya. 9, good. Devendra scored 9. Gaurav 8. What happened, Gaurav, this time? Didn't see? 9. Good. Nikhil?
6.
6. Why 6?
I cannot hear this 23 and 24.
23 and 24. Shiju scored 7. Ashita scored 6. Ashita, it's okay. Listen to the track again and again. You have this track there on LMS. Listen to it again. Aruna 6. You guys are listening to the audio for the first time. So scoring 6 out of 10, I would not say that that is a very bad score. It's a good start. Okay. Listen to the audio and try to cross check where the answer was. So you will get it. 7, Ashwant. It's not bad. What about others? Rinesh is not there today. Sachindra 8. Good. Do you have any doubt? The audio was clear, but yes, of course, the rate of speech was faster, and also, here 25th to 25th to 30, they, spoke the answers together. Okay, so you should not stuck here in 27, 30.
I could hear that hectares 12,000. So I wrote it soon.
Okay, well, that's what happens sometimes, because in some questions they give you some time. Sometimes it's together. So when it's together, you just pay attention on the first question types and you forgot the next one. So
I was marking the 3 topics and then suddenly like he's saying 12,000 hectares. I said, oh, it's a 28 one.
Yeah, because he mentioned there, that you have to look at question number 25 to 30. It means together. Okay, Ashita. Okay, so let's listen to the last section and we can calculate the scores overall. So pay more attention here because here now they're going to speak faster here, and as well as it's going to be a monologue. So continuously that person will speak, And here you have to write one word only as answer from question number 31 to 40. 31 to 40, all questions together. Yeah.
Section 4. You will hear a lecturer's introduction to a geography module. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
So, welcome to your introductory geography lecture. We'll begin with some basics. Firstly, what do we learn by studying geography? Well, we learn a great deal about all the processes that have affected and that continue to affect the Earth's surface. But we learn far more than that, because studying geography also informs us about the different kinds of relationships that develop between a particular environment and the people that live there. Okay, we like to think of geography as having two main branches. There's the study of the nature of our planet, its physical features, what it actually looks like, and then there's the study of the ways in which we choose to live and of the impact of those on our planet. Our current use of carbon fuels is a good example of that. But there are more specific study areas to consider too, and we'll be looking at each of these in turn throughout this semester. These include biophysical geography, by which I mean the study of the natural environment and all its living things. Then there's topography. That looks at the shapes of the land and oceans. There's the study of political geography and social geography too, of course, which is the study of communities of people. We have economic geography, in which we examine all kinds of resources and their use, agriculture, for example. Next comes historical geography, the understanding of how people and their environments and the ways they interact have changed over a period of time. And urban geography, an aspect I'm particularly interested in, which takes as its focus the location of cities, the services that those cities provide, and migration of people to and from such cities. And lastly, we have cartography. That's the art and science of map making. You'll be doing a lot of that. So, to summarise before we continue, we now have our key answer. Studying this subject is important because without geographical knowledge, we would know very little about our surroundings and we wouldn't be able to identify all the problems that relate to them. So, by definition, we wouldn't be in an informed position to work out how to solve any of them. Okay, now for some practicalities. What do geographers actually do? Well, we collect data to begin with. You'll be doing a lot of that on your first field trip. How do we do this? There are several means. We might, for example, conduct a census, count a population in a given area perhaps. We also need images of the Earth's surface, which we can produce by means of computer generation technology or with the help of satellite relays. We've come a very long way from the early exploration of the world by sailing ships, when geographers only had pens and paper at their disposal. After we've gathered our information, we must analyse it. We need to look for patterns, most commonly those of causes and consequences. This kind of information helps us to predict and resolve problems that could affect the world we live in. But we don't keep all this information confidential. We then need to publish our findings so that other people can access it and be informed by it. And one way in which this information can be published is in the form of maps. You'll all have used one at some stage of your life already. Let's consider the benefits of maps from a geographer's perspective. Maps can be folded and put in a pocket and can provide a great store of reference when they're collected into an atlas. They can depict the physical features of the entire planet if necessary, or just a small part of it in much greater detail. But there is a drawback. You can't exactly replicate something that is three-dimensional, like our planet, on a flat piece of paper, because paper has only 2 dimensions. And that means there'll always be a certain degree of distortion on a map. It can't be avoided. We can also use aerial photographs, pictures taken by cameras at high altitude above the Earth. These are great for showing all kinds of geographical features that are not easy to see from the ground. You can easily illustrate areas of diseased trees, or how much traffic is on the roads at a given time, or information about deep sea beds, for example. Then there are Landsats. These are satellites that circle the Earth and transmit visual information to computers at receiving stations. They circle the Earth several times a day and can provide a massive information. You'll all be familiar with the information they give us about the weather, for example. So what we're going to do now is look at a short presentation in which you'll see all these tools.
That is the end of section 4.
Okay, so 31 is surface, 32 is environment, 33 impact, or you can write effect, or you can write impacts or effects, 34 urban, 35 problems, 36 images, 37 patterns, 38 distortion, or you can write distortions, 39 traffic, and 40 is weather. Now what's your overall score?
39.
Good job.
What do you eat?
She is.
Actually, this one was easy actually. Just monologue, and just you need to concentrate.
Yeah, it depends on the
also
audio.
when the answer comes, they tone.
Yeah, they changes, of course. They emphasize more. They highlight it. Intonation is there, no? Okay, so Jinsi scored 39, which is 8.5. So good job, Jinsi. Gaurav 35, 8 bands. 38, Harpreet 8.5. Ashwant, Aditya 37. Is it 37? Devendra 34, 7.5. Abhimanyu 36, 8. Ashwant 35, 8. Ashita 26, 6.5. Ashita, please listen to the audio again today. 32, Shiju 7. Jinsi, please put it in silent mode. Students, not bad. As this is your first time listening, try to score more than 35, okay? So most of the students have scored 7.5, 7, 8. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to give you a homework. The homework is, today we have completed session 1 from LMS. So the homework for you is you have to listen to session 2, complete all 40 questions, and let me know the scores tomorrow. And also take a screenshot of this slide. You can visit this website for more listening tracks. Okay, so that's all for today. So today we have started listening. Tomorrow we will learn more about listening and we will practice more. There are different question types in your listening module. We have diagram, we have map labeling, and we have summary completion. Tomorrow we will try different types of questions. So today your homework is to complete session 2 from LMS and you have to let me know the scores tomorrow. So have a great night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Do you have any question for me? Okay, link. Yeah.
Hey, Janet, can you also share the reading links if you
have? Which link?
For reading also you have similar links, right? Where we could read.
For reading, dear, I have shared 3 to 4 websites. You can visit that, Ashwant. IELTS list, IELTS Band 7. Do you remember?
Not really. Sorry about that.
Okay, so I will send you the links, okay, to your email ID.
Okay.